What's going on, YouTube family? Welcome to Automotive Life. My name is Lucky, and today we're going to be talking about being a dealer during a recession, and is starting a dealership during a recession a good time to start a dealership. Now, there's a lot of these different little sayings out there that more millionaires are made during a recession. I personally started my dealership during a recession as well, and I can testify that some of the things we're going to talk about today will help prepare you for what's about to come, how it's going to be able to put you advantage of a lot of the other dealers you're competing with, and why I honestly believe that now during a recession is a great time to start a dealership. So if you're new to my channel, my name is Lucky. I'm an automotive expert. I've been in the car business for over 20 years. I've pretty much done it all. I've owned auto repair shops, dealerships, car rental places, and I made this channel to help educate yourself, automotive business owners, as well as regular consumers. So if you're new to the channel, please smash the subscribe button. Also hit the like button as well. And I actually have big announcements. I just changed my Instagram. I've been trying for 2 years to get my name as my handle. So now it's no longer automotive.life. It is at Lucky Lopez. So make sure you put a notification to that. I'm going to put it up here on the screen. But anyways, let's go ahead and get into the video. So first, we're going to talk about being a dealer currently during a recession. Now, as you guys know, this is the weirdest and craziest time it's ever been in the automotive industry. The used car market is absolutely nuts. Now, I know the prices are overinflated and people are going nuts, but we can be consistently buying cars back at book, which means we've been buying them cheaper than buying them at the auction. There's only two reasons why prices are staying high. One, it's stupid consumers overpaying, and number two is stupid dealers overpaying. We get 90% of our inventory offline. We don't get it from the auctions. We get them from Facebook, OfferUp, Marketplace, Craigslist, even just walk around talking to people. You will buy much better deals and a much higher volume than you will at the auction. So keep that in mind. But if you're a current dealer right now, you need to take heed, because we talked about how the demand is starting to go down. Interest rates are rising, people don't have the extra liquidity or cash that they normally have, so little by little, less and less credit applications are being filed. You can look all the way across all automotive boards. Every single dealership has been reporting a loss of sales. And we're not talking like single digits, we're talking double digits, 10, 15, 20%, some major manufacturers. So you, as a small independent dealer, need to be taking heed and following these guys' lead. Now, with shrinking demand, and as you guys can see, supply is loading up here in Vegas. You drive down the franchise stores, they got rows and rows of vehicles now. There's no more just 5 cars sitting out front. So if the demand is dying and supply is slowly building up, why are you still overpaying for cars at the auction? Don't give me the bullshit excuse of, oh, I need to fill my lot and blah, blah, blah. Stop. The recession is coming. You need to literally liquidate 90% of your cars that you're over in right now. As prices start to go down, you need to turn over that inventory, so this way we can keep your costs down a little bit lower. We need to make sure that you're not maxing out your flooring line and buried in all these cars. Because what's going to happen is if you have, let's say, a 2020 Toyota Camry and you paid just a round number $30,000 for it, and then 3 months later I buy the exact same car for $25,000 because the recession is finally hitting, you're stuck in that car $5,000 more than me. So I can price mine at $27,500. I'll make $2,000 after fees and everything else and walk away with some extra money. Where you have to sell yours for maybe $32,000. And as you guys know, the cheapest car is the one that always wins, thanks to car gurus and all these other idiots on the internet. So you need to start liquidating your overpriced inventory, anything that you feel that's costing you too much money. If you have lines of credit or flooring lines, take heed now, because every time we've seen a recession happen, people get stuck. They can't sell their cars because the values are dropping. They take them to the auction, the values are dropping, they're upside down, and they basically have to take losses on the cars. Now, I know a lot of people are thinking, well, it's not that much. I'm only losing like $1,000, $1,500. But you got to remember, if you're a dealer, even a mid-sized dealer, and you have 30 to 60 cars on your lot, and you're losing $2,000 to $3,000 to $4,000 or $5,000 on each car, times that by 30, it adds up really, really quickly. And the worst thing is last time, I remember back in 2012, there was like a little bit of a hiccup. And then once again in 2015, during the presidential election, a lot of the flooring companies started calling in dealers. They ran the books, didn't say anything to the dealers, and said, oh, well, you know what? You guys are all upside down in your inventory. We need like $8,000 to $10,000 tomorrow to make ourselves feel a little bit better about securing our collateral. And I've had some dealers that were called in for $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 on the exact same car notes. Now, I bought my cars back at book, so thank God we only had to write a check for $10K. I couldn't imagine owing $400,000 or $500,000 with no sales, with an over demand of supply, and you can't do anything with it. If you're a current dealer right now, you need to learn as many things about your flooring line. You need to restructure, you need to lower your rates. There's nothing wrong with calling them and asking them for either extended terms, 90, 90, 90. If you don't know what that means, don't worry about it. If you're a dealer, you'll understand. If you want to do lower non-auction purchases fees, mine were $25 through AFC and NextGear, very, very affordable. Also, you want to start looking in alternative financing, because when the recession hits, you are going to need banks. You're only successful as how many banks you have. I don't know why all these new dealers, they're so infatuated with cash deals. You will sell 3 times the amount of cars if you have banks. Like I said, here in Vegas, when I first started, I had 27 banks. That didn't even include Cuddle, which was the credit unions. Include them, that's probably another 15 banks to our situation. But the main reason I got out of the business here in Vegas is because there's no lenders that want to do business here, and we were down to 4 banks. So the big goal is, the more banks you have, the more buying power you have, the more selling power you have. You can find basically every bank has a structure for a person. So if you're doing high risk deals, like let's say Mercedes, BMWs, you need to have that many banks, because some of these people are not going to take people with low credit scores or maybe short job times, stuff like that. Also, you need to be aware of recourse. A lot of these dealers during recessions are always worried about their money and how to hedge their bets. So they will raise the bank fees really high, but then they'll offset it. Okay, well, I'll give you a lower bank fee, but I'm adding 2 months of recourse. And you need to read every single approval. Don't just sign, don't send in the paperwork. If they only give us 1 month recourse all the time, they will try, and I tell you, they will try to sneak it in on you. I've had dealers where, I've been doing deals with this bank for years. They only offered me a flat $1,000 buy fee for every deal, no matter how shitty their credit is. And then all of a sudden they find out they have a 3, 4, 6 month recourse on all their deals, when they normally only started with 1 month, because the banker was smart, started throwing that stuff in there, hoping that you, the dealer, will not see it. And that's another thing. As the recession comes, people are losing their jobs. If the flooring lines don't kill you and your overpriced inventory, next thing that's going to kill you is all your deadbeat customers that are first payment defaults. You're going to have one repo after another, and all of a sudden these banks are to come to you. You have 4 buybacks. None of these people, they're all first payment defaults. So we need a check for $80,000 tomorrow. Thanks. You're screwed. Now you got to do that. And then the worst thing is, if you don't pay that bank, they're going to tell everybody in your state that you're a piece of shit and you don't pay your bills, and none of the other banks are going to work with you. So if you're a dealer and you're watching this, fix your flooring lines of credit. Thin down your inventory. I'd rather have you have 6 cars on your lot that are in cheaply that you can afford to sit around with, than having 20 to 30 cars and be overpriced in every single one. If you have a big lot and you're 200 cars, shrink it down to 100, because you will thank me later, because as these prices keep dropping little by little, you're going to see. And like I said, I don't even have to say anything, just watch. Now, the next thing we're going to talk about is personnel. As you know, once a recession starts coming, people start getting fired, laid off, losing jobs. So not only do you have to worry about your people, you have to worry about everybody else's. So if you see a lot of these dealerships going out of business, which you will, you need to start worrying about headhunting. If your sales guy's not that great, keep chasing for the next guy. If you can't find him, or you're looking for a finance manager, the best time to get somebody and sink him in for long term is during a recession. That's how I was able to get my guy, Adam. Shout out to you if you're watching. There'll be openings, people won't be willing to pay, so you could take advantage of this time and get some quality employees during a recession. Now, let's go ahead and move on to if you are planning on starting a dealership during a recession. Now, one of the reasons why I think it's the best time is because, Warren Buffett said it best. Usually when there's a sale, everybody goes running in, buying stuff because it's a sale. He goes, but when it comes to finance and business, if the stock market crashes and the prices are cheap, everybody gets scared, they go bearish, and they pull back and they don't buy anything. And that's when he buys. And that's when most business owners invest into either their businesses, themselves, or whatever. And that's why there's always that saying that more millionaires are made during a recession than during, you know, an economic upturn. So it's very important that if you're thinking about doing it, you have some advantages to you. One, you're going to see a lot of these dealers falling off on the wayside. It happens every 2 to 3 years. They hit a little bump, dealers get in trouble with their flooring lines, banks, they go bankrupt doing some shady shit, they go away. So now you'll be able to get in there with less competition. Second thing, you'll be able to hopefully get a better lease. Take your time, find the right place. Watch as these dealerships start to go out of business here in the next 4 to 6 months. You know, plan your lease for maybe January or, you know, the end of December, because this is when it's the hardest time for dealers. But you as a new dealership, you can basically get set up and ready by tax season, so you're hitting the ground running. So start looking at your leases, looking at property, because they will go down. Next thing, cars should be hopefully on their way down a lot faster than what they currently are. Right now they're about 2 to 3% per month in most areas. But once, like I said, in October, November, December hit, those prices are going to drop. So you'll be able to buy in at a much cheaper rate while everybody else is still stuck with their cars that are very maxed out and overpaid. Plus, you'll have a surplus of employees. There'll be a lot of dealerships going out of business. You'll be able to take advantage of that, do a few things. And one of the biggest advantages of all of this is you're starting during economic downturn. You will learn how to hold your budget. You'll be smart. You'll be focused. You'll do a lot more with a lot less. Where a lot of the dealerships now have turned into kind of fat pigs, and fat pigs are ready to be slaughtered. You know, they're making all this money, making all this overhead. They've pretty much rode that stimulus wagon into the ground, and now they're not getting the $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 down payments that they normally need to get them traditionally approved. So as you start, stay lean, stay mean, small inventory, small overhead, small personnel, business 101, and slowly build your system. Really worry about your customers. Build your relationships with banks. Once again, you're only as successful as your actual banks. Now, the cool thing is as these dealerships go out of business and they start burning all these banks, the banks are required to lend out so much money per quarter. So as they start cutting off all these dealers that are having what's called buybacks and all these recourses, they need more dealers to sign up because they gotta push paper. So you as the new dealer, a lot of times you may have to be a year old, or maybe have to have, you know, $2 million in inventory, or have a $800,000 flooring line, or maybe have newer cars with lower miles. They may make a lot of exemptions for you because they need the loans, they need the paper. Now, a lot of people don't realize this, but with a lot of these banks, especially subprime, they're given big chunks of money from different banks, hedge funds, government, whoever they get it from, and they're required to spend that money every quarter. And if they don't spend it, the next quarter they get even less. So it behooves them to find new dealers like yourselves to go ahead and invest, build a relationship, and start buying some paper from you. Now, if you treat those relationships well and you build that relationship and you take care of them and you ask them, how's my paper performing? You call the customers every time their fucking payments due. Pay your bill, pay your bill. No first payment recourses, none of those problems. If you do have any of these, I'm gonna tell you right now, if you're a dealer, I had a calendar right by my office. You need to do the same thing. Don't put it on your computer, don't put it on your phone, put it on the freaking wall. And you're gonna write down, every time you sell a car, I sold a car to Mr. Smith. What does Mr. Smith have? He has a 2 payment recourse. I wrote on the calendar, all right, 25th of this month, first payment due. Next month, Mr. Smith's due again, 25th. I put those things down and I always call. And you do that on every single car until you get smart enough to make sure that you don't worry about that. That will set you up for success in the beginning, because I watch so many dealers getting excited, selling deals, not paying attention to recourse, get burned. But anyways, but this is pretty much some of the stuff you want to be ready for when the recession comes. Now, if you have any questions, please put in the comment section below. I try to answer every single one myself. Also, if you have any tips or tricks for some of these new dealers or existing dealers, please put in the comment section below as well. Once again, please subscribe to us. I think we're about 85,000. I can't wait. I think we're on pace for next month to finally break 100K, which is absolutely amazing. We're probably gonna do a giveaway or something. Also, follow us on Instagram at Lucky Lopez. We are no longer, like I said, automotive.life. We switched it over, so I finally got my name on Instagram, which is huge. Thanks so much to Dylan if you're watching this one. These guys are awesome. Once again, we have an amazing video coming out Friday. I was supposed to do Workshop Wednesday today, but something happened with Carvana that I'm going to go into a video on Friday, which you guys are going to really like. So we go ahead and skip the workout video or the workshop video today and wanted to put out something about being a dealer and during the recession. But anyways, I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.